All right, what's going on, guys? So this is going to be the last video in the beginner section of the PVM fundamental series. Next section is going to get into more advanced topics, so we're going to be going over medium difficulty fundamentals that are going to be more niche, but also significantly more powerful. But for now, we're going to talk about food usage and food consumption. Now, there are two different types of food. There is food that drains your adrenaline, and food that does not. Now, food that drains your adrenaline, this is going to be stuff that you're used to if you've been playing for a long time. This is going to be sharks, this is going to be rocktail, this is going to be sailfish, manta ray, stuff like that, where basically you click on the food once, it heals you 2,000 or more, and then it's gone. That's one type of food. Then there is food that does not drain your adrenaline. For PVMing and for high tier PVMing, this is going to be brews, so Ceradomin brews and super Ceradomin brews, and then green blubbers and blue blubbers. The reason that people use green blubbers and blue blubbers as well as brews and super brews is that, one, you can get about the same amount of healing in the same tick or slightly more, but beyond that, they don't drain your adrenaline, which means that you're not losing damage by eating. This doesn't sound like that big of a deal, but at bosses where doing damage very quickly is important, this can matter quite a bit. So to illustrate, we're going to go to Racial, and this guide isn't really going to be a how to do Racial. Instead, what we're going to do is I'm just going to do Racial the way I normally would with tier 90 gear, but instead of having my food that doesn't drain my adrenaline, I will use my food that does drain adrenaline, and we'll see if it meaningfully impacts our kill times and our survivability. So what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to eat every time my health drops below half. I forgot to life transfer, so I'm just going to do that now. So you'll notice that my Death Skulls is off cooldown, but I just couldn't cast it because I didn't have the adrenaline for it. So just because of the way my adrenaline lined up, I only got to cast Death Skulls once inside of my Living Death. Again, this may not seem like that big of a deal, but typically you should be able to cast it 3 times once you have all the upgrades, so it's actually pretty important that I have the adrenaline in order to do that. Yeah, I need to clear these guys because they're going to kill me, so... But I am really trying my best here. It's just because of the food that I'm eating, my damage is significantly lower than it should be. I also tanked 2 walls. That wasn't on purpose. It's just what happened. I'm going to use my Excalibur since my food supply is running really low. Gonna reflect. And again, for all intents and purposes, I'm doing the kill the way that I normally would. Like, I'm not really trying to take unnecessary damage or play bad on purpose. Okay, so we used basically our entire inventory of food, which is not good. Not only that, the kill took 3 minutes and 15 seconds, so not ideal. Now we'll switch to food that does not drain our adrenaline, and we'll see if this meaningfully improves our kill speeds. So I'm going to be using 6-dose brews and blue blubbers. If you want to use 4-dose brews and green blubbers, then you're more than welcome to. This is just what I have. So same thing, I'm going to eat whenever I drop below half. And I'm already getting so much more damage out just because I'm able to cast my Death Skulls whenever it's available. In terms of my rotation, the only thing that I'm doing is using my stacking abilities. Once they're full, I'm not doing anything special besides that. Using Reflect because my devotion's on cooldown. I accidentally stepped away, that was on purpose. So my kill was about 30 seconds faster. Not only was it 30 seconds faster, but even though my food was technically healing about 10% less per bite of food, it didn't matter because it wasn't draining my adrenaline. So I was able to put out significantly more damage without necessarily pressing more abilities that are really high damage, right? All I did was use food that didn't drain adrenaline. Something else to keep in mind, also, this is Raph from the future. Hi. Something else to keep in mind is that on top of those positives that I just listed, I also only used 2 brews, which is 12,000 HP, and 4 blubbers, which is 9,000 HP, as opposed to the 17 sharks, meaning that for this kill, I got to do more damage because I wasn't spending my adrenaline, and I healed 13,000 less HP over the course of the fight. That's pretty massive. So hopefully that kind of shows you why brews and blubbers are really important. Now, this isn't to say that the other food isn't important, because the other food has a very good use. Typically, once you get into higher end bossing, the reason why you'd want to use sharks and sailfish and rocktail and all that stuff is for combo eating. Now, the way that combo eating works is if you eat one of these first, your solid food, we'll call it, and then you eat a brew and then a blubber, you can get a lot more healing than if you just slammed sharks. So here, I'm going to eat a shark and then eat a brew, eat a blubber, and I'm going to do it twice, and you'll see, or I'm going to do it 3 times, and you'll see that I'm basically going to be able to heal to full in like 3 seconds. So, like, I messed up the second one, but I did 2 combo eats over the course of like 3 seconds. And if I would have waited a little bit longer, I could have gotten the third one in. And I'm full health. Well, basically. So that just goes to show you the power of combo eating and why we use solid food. But typically, using solid food isn't going to be very good unless your goal is, 1, you need to heal a lot of health in a very short amount of time, or 2, what you're doing doesn't have stringent adrenaline requirements, so how much adrenaline you have effectively doesn't matter. Typically, this is going to be more important when you're AFK and you're doing low-level content. Your rotation isn't going to matter that much at God Wars 1. It kind of matters, but not really at God Wars 2. That's when your solid food's going to be better. It's also typically significantly cheaper, which is nice to keep in mind. But yeah, this should be a pretty good guide on what food we use and why we should use it. So hopefully you guys can start incorporating different types of foods into your gameplay based on what you're doing. Also, if you guys would like a new Revolution bar, this is the one I put together to incorporate Undead Army. This is going to be really good, especially once you're learning your living death rotation and stuff like that, which that's going to be the next videos coming out. But yeah, if you want to copy a Revolution bar, this one's really good. These abilities here are also good to have on one of your bars. They don't necessarily need to be on this bar, but that's just a bonus for you guys. This is going to be the new bar I'm showing. This is going to be the new bar that I'm showing when I'm teaching you guys your living death rotation. But yeah, that's it for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one.